Welcome back to the final episode in the Grimwood Fairy Tales of Creep on June 2026. Now, at the end of our last episode, we'd left the twins unconscious in the carriage. They were put there by the beautiful blue lady and being told they were on their way home. The twins slowly regained consciousness as the carriage stopped moving and they found themselves surrounded by the warm morning light. They glanced out of the carriage doors to see the early morning sun radiating off a very familiar and welcome sight. "The castle!" they both cried at once and bounded out of the carriage, running the short distance to the big oak door. A raven was perched by the door and looked to be smiling down at the children. But they were far too excited to take much notice and pounded on the door with all their might. A minute or two later, their efforts were rewarded when the door was opened by none other than their father. He was still in his travelling cloak and had clearly been out searching for them again in the night. Before he could say a word, however, the twins had flung themselves into his arms and started babbling, trying to tell him all about their adventures. "Slow down, my children, slow down. I can't understand a word you're saying," said the king, wrapping his arms around them. Eventually the children calmed enough to tell their story in a more coherent manner. Now, they were just reaching the part where they were going to tell their father about the beautiful blue lady when their stepmother, Queen Matilda, appeared. She was behind their father in the vast entrance lobby. She took one look at the situation and understood exactly what was happening. "What do you have there?" she cried. "Have you been out thieving?" She grabbed the bag that Frida had completely forgotten she was holding. And Queen Matilda pulled out the items one by one. Firstly, she pulled out the black and white thread. Looking at it disdainfully, she threw it to one side. She reached into the bag again and grabbed the blue pearls. "Oh, they're nice," she said, putting them around her neck. Next, she pulled out the beautiful white shoe. She jammed her foot into it, although it was far too big. She obviously thought it looked beautiful, and she quickly pulled out the mirror to admire her reflection. Now, at that moment, a blue mist began to creep around her ankles and slowly worked its way up, engulfing her body. To the astonishment of the king and the twins, a shimmering image of the blue lady appeared. She spoke softly. "The mirror will reveal the truth. Look inside to see the proof." Well, the mirror swung round in mid-air, suspended as if by magic, and the king and the twins were able to see clearly scenes depicting the true nature of Queen Matilda and how badly she treated the twins and how she ultimately just wanted the king's money. The mirror faded and the blue lady reappeared. Turn and peep, here's blood within the shoe. The shoe it is too small for her, but the true bride waits for you. Suddenly the blue mist grew denser and denser until they could no longer see Queen Matilda. And then with a flash of blue lightning and an unearthly scream, Matilda disappeared into the fog. The blue mist slowly cleared, and as it did, the beautiful blue lady faded away into the mist as well. But to the shock of the king and the twins, in Queen Matilda's place was their mother. Unable to believe their eyes, all three rushed forward to embrace her. Surely it was an apparition. The Queen had been dead for a number of years. But no, the true Queen was very much alive and very pleased to see them all. After the initial shock had worn off some time later and all the fuss was starting to die down, the Queen noticed the black and white threads on the floor where Matilda had discarded them, thinking they were worthless. "What are these?" she asked the twins curiously. "Oh, they're a reminder," said Freddie. "Ah? Of what?" inquired the Queen. Remembering what the Sisters of Fate had told them, Frida repeated, "When darkness comes, remember that light follows. And when light comes, remember that darkness never sleeps," Freddie finished. "Life is woven of both strands." "Well, that's very wise words," said the king thoughtfully. "But for now, let's work on all living together happily ever after."